4 p.m., stand up, it's count time. It's time for every man and woman to stand up and be counted. I am Brother L.D. Azobra, and I'd like to welcome you to another edition of Count Time Podcast. We'd like to first say, is it happy or good Black History Month? And also it's Mardi Gras here in Louisiana, so we're letting a good time roll here. And we're going to get started today because we got something big coming up here in Louisiana and Baton Rouge. All right, now y'all see this young lady we have here today. I know she is a young lady. She don't like for me to say it sometimes, but she's a friend, someone I've been working with for quite some time. She's been so much help and so very supportive with Count Time, a lot of things we do here. She also, since it's Black History Month, I want you to know, she is the first female that look like her of Black descent to chair any department at LSU. She is the chair of LSU Geography and Anthropology Department at LSU and have been there for going on 2.5 years. We'd like to welcome we call her Dr. J. Her name is Dr. Joyce Marie Jackson. Welcome to Count Time.
Well, thank you very much. I'm happy to be here.
We're glad to have you. We've got some discussion we're going to take place right now about what's happening this month, which is Black History Month.
I just wanted to say, he said I've been here for 2 years. I've been chair for 2 years, but I've been at LSU almost.
Oh yeah, you about to retire. Yeah, you about to retire now. You about to come on out.
30+ years, I'll say it like that.
So you're going to throw a few more punches and duck on out of there. So that's when you're going to get on out of Dodge, huh?
Nah, I've been here a long time.
So what have your experience been like? What have being a chair at LSU first in that department? No, the first in the department, the whole department of LSU, right? The first female to chair any department at LSU.
Yes.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. And what year was that?
Well, I came in as chair as 2021. So
I mean, we in the 20th century, and LSU just finally got a Black female chair. I guess that progress. I already got a president too now, so that says a lot. And as always, we're happy to have you here. And because of Dr. Jackson, we had a lot of great shows that you have seen and heard, and quite a few of us because of her and her connection and the people that she have connected me to. But now Doc have put together something that's going to shake up Louisiana, or it's one of the best programs that I think is appropriate for the month of February, Black History Month, which we call it. You are doing a slavery conference. So you got to tell us about the slavery conference, how did that come about, and what you're looking to accomplish with this great event.
Okay. Yes, we're really organizing a slavery conference, and which will be happening at the end of this week, as a matter of fact. I decided to do this because of some incidents that happened, you might say information that we found out a couple of years ago. For one thing, we had the opportunity to become a part of the University Studying Slavery Consortium. And that is a consortium that consists of from 90 to 100 universities, and about 4 of those universities are international universities. And this consortium has been going on since about 2014. And actually it started with Ruth Simmons at Brown University. She decided to do this research when she became president there on the slavery institution that was at Brown and build that university. And then the University of Virginia decided that they would put this organization together called University Studying Slavery. And we happened to become a part of that last year, in 2023. It was passed in the Faculty Senate that LSU would become a part of the University Studying Slavery Consortium. So that happened, and the other thing that kind of triggered me for trying to coordinate this conference was the fact that we found out that our health center was built on a slave cemetery. And this came about in one of the articles of the Rebel in 1931. And Dr. Andrew Sluter and his student was doing some research on it, and they found this article in the Rebel, and that's, we found out that information. And that, to me, that was just deplorable. I mean, I just could not fathom somebody, seeing the bones and then continuing to build on top of a cemetery, whether it was enslaved people or regardless who was sacred ground. And so we just, I got together a group of people and we said, well, let's do this. And we decided to, because this, again, we silenced so much of the past. And so we're trying to figure out, now, how do we unsilence the past? The past is good to know. And, it brings us to the future and into a better way of living. And so we just got together and, and started to, sort of, organize this conference. And I pulled together people from different departments on campus. We also talked and invited other people from other universities, Tulane University, Southern University. We have the A&M agenda with Southern University, and I said, well, let me go and invite them to become a part of this. And that's kind of the way it happened.
So you're working very closely with with Southern University and Dr. Chancellor, John Pierre, who helped coordinate it, I guess co-hosting this event.
Yeah, he's co-hosting the event, and it's been very good working with him, a very strong collaborative project. And so he's co-hosting. We're having speakers from Southern University as well as other universities. So it's sort of like a collaborative effort with many more universities, and it's also interdisciplinary, because we're not all historians. We got anthropologists, sociologists, African American studies, and various disciplines that are here, and that we're working with. And then I must say too that we're dedicating the whole conference to Dr. Gwendolyn Midlo Hall. And she was very instrumental in a lot of the work that I did. I met her early on, back in the 90s, 92 I believe it was, when her book was published by LSU Press, The Africanisms in Colonial Louisiana, and that really kind of changed my life. I started going to synagogue because of the book that I read and because of meeting her. And she's influenced so many people, and she's a historian, but she's also a community activist, and these are the things that we're bringing out. So, one day we're basically talking about her, and some of the people are coming in that were highly influenced by her. They're at universities all over now, so we have several of them coming in, like Dr. Ibrahim Seck from the University of Cheikh Anta Diop in Dakar, Senegal. We have, we have Isaac Saini. He's at the University of Delahousie in Nova Scotia, Halifax, Nova Scotia. We have Douglas Chambers, who's at the University of Southern Mississippi. Well, he's retired, but he worked with her for a long time at the University of Southern Mississippi. And it's because of her work, that slave database, that Whitney Plantation has that, it's a whole memorial area at the plantation that they have etched in enslaved people's names, and it's because of her database that they were able to put all of that together. And
also, you're going to have her son,
yes,
only son.
Her only son, Haywood Hall, is also coming. He's a medical doctor. He works in Mexico. He does a lot of telemedicine and public health centers. He works with public health centers there, and he's coming in to talk about the activist side of Gwendolyn Midlo Hall, which a lot of people don't know about.
Yeah, and her husband, who was someone very interesting. Mm-hmm. But also, you mentioned the name Ruth Simmons. You got to give us a little history about who she is. She's going to be one of your keynote speakers.
Yeah, Ruth Simmons is, she's coming in. She'll be speaking on Friday. And Ruth has a long history of, that just a very popular history that we know about her. But she was the president of Brown University, and she sort of started this whole University Studying Slavery Institute thing going on at Brown. And so she really influenced a lot of the other schools that are doing this work now. And they came out and published a report from that some schools are using. I know some of the history professors at Tulane are using the report that she published from Brown University, looking at the institution of slavery there. So a lot of people are using her piece as a prototype to work with their universities. So we're bringing her in. She was a distinguished professor at Rice University. She was also president of Prairie View. Now she's the special assistant to the president of Harvard University. She's working with historic New Orleans, historic university, historic colleges and universities.
Oh, HBCUs.
HBCUs, that's what I'm trying to say. Historic black colleges and universities.
Yeah, okay, good.
Yeah, so she's working with the president with that, and also, still working with the slavery project at Harvard.
And she would be speaking when?
She will be speaking on Friday at 10 o'clock.
Okay. And, but also, now this is the first ever conference of this magnitude in this area, or in the, it's interesting because it's going to be held at LSU, which is an SEC school,
yes,
which is Southeastern Conference, which is the South, which most of these schools are part of the history of slavery.
Yes.
So are they participating with you, or just LSU on its own? And what this look like to you?
Well, they've definitely been invited. We've sent the publicity website. We have a conference website, and we have sent that out and invited other schools to come. Now, of course, we don't know who will show up still. There are some on our registration list, but we're not sure who all will come. But of course, they have been invited. They're all a part of this. And I like to say that we've invited not only academicians, but we also inviting the community. And we would like to see, and I mean, when I say community, I mean indigenous community as well as the black community. When I say descendants, I mean both, because the indigenous people were also enslaved. And so we have invited them to be a part of this conference, to be speakers, as well as collaborators as we were putting the conference together. So.
Okay, so now with all this going on, and you working very closely with Southern University, so we're hoping to pull in a lot of people from the Southern University, which is HBCU.
Yes.
And we talked about Louisiana State University. And matter of fact, one of the largest ports of slavery was right down the street in New Orleans.
That's correct.
So it's kind of interesting to see how this can play out, how it's going to work. But at this in the United States, with the climate being as it is now, when they talk about slavery, now it's interesting. When I was a little boy, they had movies on, all kind of different stories about slavery, the history of slavery, and you watch this all your life. Now they're saying slavery don't exist.
Yeah.
That it was an illusion, I guess. So what is there are people, there are what do you call them? Presidents at university that have lost their jobs because of similar kind of dealing with similar issues. So how to do this affects what you're doing now?
Well, I'm only trying to have us to acknowledge what happened. I mean, it's history, and as much as we try to erase it, we really can't, because it is affecting what we do today. And we are not trying to, we want to unsilence the past, but only because we want a full narrative. We want to make everything, we want to bring out the truth, and we want to bring the full picture to play. And because when you bring in all of this, it helps what's going on today. It helps our students to know their heritage, to know their history. And I'm not just speaking about black and indigenous. I'm speaking about everybody, because it affected everybody.
We all was in this together.
Yeah, basically. We're all in it together, and it helps us to move forward. And some of the things that I'm looking at happening because I don't want it just to be the conference and we just leave it there and forget about it. We have the conference and we want to move forward with the discussions that we're having at the conference, but we also would like to move forward with programs. We would like to incorporate some more into our curriculums. We would like to have some type of initiatives to work more with the indigenous community, as well as, you know, the descendants of African people, African enslaved people. So it's just, you know, we have to acknowledge and reflect before we can move on. You know, we're moving on, but we want to move further. We would like to bring in those other programs, that meaningful programs with the community. And so those are just, you know, just some of the things that we're trying to do.
But have you gotten much pushback from Louisiana State University, or you got everybody's on board? How's that working out for you?
Well, many people are on board, and we're just still trying to get the word around, because we don't want just the faculty there, but we're bringing in students too. We definitely want our students to be there and listen to some and be a part of this conversation and the dialogue. I wouldn't say I got pushback, but I certainly got silence from some.
Silence is consent.
No.
So that could be.
Yeah, good. You get silence.
In other words, we okay. But for the most part, the main players are there to support you and help you.
Yeah, we've received a lot of support from our college, different colleges, and also from a number of the departments around campus. And it's not just from, because my department is in the humanities and social sciences, but we've had people from other colleges too, like the College of Education, School of Education, communicate, you know, so other colleges are working with us, which is a good thing. You know? It's not just humanities and social sciences.
Now, and also, we said the collaboration with Southern University. What role have they played up to this point?
Oh well, I have one person on the committee from Southern, and I'm in conversation with the Chancellor quite a bit. They have suggested speakers
for
Chancellor John Pierre, and he has suggested speakers, and some of his committee members. I had a meeting with them once, and met some people at the Law Center, and they suggested people that could speak on various topics. And so we have a number of their speakers that will be there as panelists and as keynote. Well, actually, John Pierre, the Chancellor, is going to be one of our keynote speakers.
Oh, what are you going to be speaking on?
So he's done a lot of research looking at HBCUs that were instituted right after slavery. So looking at that whole educational system and how it came about for people of color after emancipation, and how these schools were established, back in the 1800s. I think maybe the first one was 1867.
I know Southern was established like 1879.
Yeah, so
right after slavery.
Yeah, right after slavery.
So he's gonna be giving a discussion on the history of.
Yes, he's gonna speak on some of his research that he's done, and I think that will be on Friday.
And he have quite a few others going to be speaking from.
Yeah, we have some panelists that will look at health in the enslaved community, women in health. Daliso Alford from Southern University's Law Center, she's working with that. We have another, I should have brought my list with me. Okay. Another person will be speaking on women enslaved and incarcerated. We have people speaking on.
That's I remember that Mary Ann.
I had about 20-some speakers. So
this is gonna be what the conference look like? What do the setup look like?
Yeah, it's gonna be 2 days, starting Thursday.
Thursday of this week.
Start Thursday
of this coming week,
February the 8th.
All right.
We start at 8 o'clock. Well, actually, 8. We just, with registration. We haven't trying to get people to register before they come, so we don't have registration at the beginning of the conference. But the speakers will start at 9 o'clock, and we go on to 5 o'clock that at afternoon. And we have speakers interspersed with panels. And that's for 2 days, because we have Friday too, starting at 9 o'clock again. And Saturday on the 10th, we're doing a field excursion out to the River Road, and we will be visiting with the Whitney Plantation Museum and then with the African American River Road Museum. And we'll have another session out there on genealogy. And we try to look, we're working with all of this because Gwen's work encompassed an interdisciplinary realm. I mean, she was just, so a lot of genealogists have used her work.
Now, I'm interested in knowing, how did you get involved? You told us about the consortium of other universities, but how did you personally get hold of this? Did you, there are other conferences going on around the state, around the country?
No, well, with the consortium, University Studying Slavery Consortium, they normally do a conference every semester. And so I have attended 2 of these. I attended the one last spring at the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill. I was able to listen to those speakers, you know, engage with them, look at how their descendant community was interacting with the university, in which I might add they had a very strong organized descendant community, and very impressive. And I was just, you know, you looking at these and hoping that we can do something similar here at LSU. And then in the fall, I went to Nova Scotia because the University of Dalhousie did a conference too, a University Studying Slavery conference. And I also learned a lot about Louisiana enslaved people in going to that conference. I knew a number of enslaved people were set free by the British after the War of 1812, or they lost the War of 1812. But in order to continue to set those people free as they promised, whether they would win, lose, or draw with the war, they would set them free. And they did, but they couldn't leave them in Louisiana because they were going to be enslaved again. So they took them to British colonies. And Nova Scotia was one, Trinidad, Jamaica. But in Nova Scotia, they have this very strong descendant community. And many of those are descended from enslaved people in Louisiana. And so it was just very impressive. It really, you know, one of the persons that I invited is doing some work on that, and he had actually coordinated the conference at Dalhousie, and I listened to him speak. We had conversations on the side because I was really intrigued by what they were doing and about the Louisiana connection to Nova Scotia, which most people don't know about. Or when they hear about it, they think of the Cajuns. Okay. You know, coming in the migration of Cajuns from Nova Scotia to Louisiana, but we never think about the migrations of, you know, newly emancipated slaves from Louisiana to Nova Scotia, and that is it's kind of like a reverse thing. But they are very strong, and they're called Africaville, and they took us to tours out in the area that they populated for quite some time, and we got that whole story. And so it just really intrigued me.
And I guess we can't find that in Louisiana because everybody wanted to get out of Louisiana, so there's no villages like that. But there is like free Negro Park.
Well,
so.
yeah, there are freedom villages here too. Like Fazanville was a freedom village. It was a community that was established in St. Bernard Parish right after the Civil War. Enslaved people were emancipated and brought into well, they came into New Orleans, but they couldn't afford the property in New Orleans, so they settled outside of New Orleans, which was St. Bernard Parish at the time, which was really, you know, still a very rural area. And so this village, they call it the village, was right there in St. Bernard Parish, and it was owned by the Fazan family. And then so they established it as the Fazanville. And so that's a lot of work that's been done on that as a film out. I'm doing research on it. And but yeah, we had a number of freedom towns, freedom villages here.
So now you're looking forward to this week.
Yes.
Of a well-attended, you know, great speakers This is not a show. This is a learning opportunity.
Oh yeah.
An opportunity for
and a collaborative,
for all,
discussion.
for all, for all to come together. Because it was interesting when I was a little boy in high school, the books had the story of slavery in it. And now, and that's what I learned this from the books and the movies. But now they're telling us now that this almost like this didn't exist, so it's not important now. So I have an issue with that, because I mean the Jews, who are not even the ones that are from Germany and Russia, even with Hitler, that didn't happen on this soil. That happened in a whole other part of the world. And there is sympathy for that, but nothing here for the things that happened to our ancestors and indigenous people who are still our ancestors. So we're looking at to bring people to have a dialogue, I guess,
Yes.
and to communicate this thing, let them know that we all, let's talk about it. It's happened, it's real. We here to tell you, because our ancestors are not here to give the story, but we know the story because they left it with us.
Yes.
So we want to have that opportunity to share the story. So you're going to have what we call scholars who are in these areas, who are going to be here giving that expertise in the history areas of what these things that happened through slavery, the impact of slavery, and also where you going from here.
Yeah, we will have scholars, but I must add that we also have community speakers that are coming, speaking from experiential activities that they've been involved in as a part of the descendants of enslaved people, indigenous as well as African. And so that's why we're bringing them all together. We want to have this a collaborative project, because we're all in it together. And so I just want to make that point clear, that we will have some other people speaking too that are not, academicians. And their words are just as important. We want their voices heard.
Okay.
And they will be, we have a panel on indigenous people. Someone is coming from the history department to talk about the enslavement of indigenous people. And then we have some actually indigenous people from the community coming to talk about how that has affected them till this day. So that is important for us to bring all these stories together and have it as a collaborative effort.
And also to have the great Ruth Simmons, AKA, which she really is an AKA, to come here. I don't mean nothing against the Deltas, but Dr. Ruth is an AKA who's from Texas, but went to school and also taught in New Orleans.
Yes.
At Dillard University.
Yes, she did.
Yeah, so so she's familiar with this area.
Oh yes.
Okay, and you're hosting it during the time of Mardi Gras, so there's a lot going on, right?
It's a lot going on. And we're telling people, that Friday we don't have anything going on Friday evening, and there are Mardi Gras parades in Baton Rouge. So we're giving them all the information if they want to go and partake. And some people will, they have no clue. And so if they can't get to New Orleans and see the parades and all the other activities that are going down there, there's some in Baton Rouge too. So we're giving them that information. So laissez les bon temps rouler.
Now you got to give us the days that's what's happening in these days and time.
Yeah, that's Thursday and Friday, February the 8th and 9th. We're having the conference itself at the Lord Cook's Alumni Center on LSU's campus, and on Saturday we're moving the conference attendees out to the River Road, and that's when we have the field excursion to the Whitney Plantation and the River Road African American Museum, and another session is going on out there. So the conference continues on the River Road.
Now if somebody want to get in touch with someone regarding the conference, how do you make that happen?
Well, they can call 225-578-5942, and that person is in the department, and they can give you more information on the conference. Then we have a website. Website.
Well, hopefully we can post it.
We have a conference website. Yeah, it can be posted, and it's a detailed information on the website. The agenda is on the website. where you have, you know, all the speakers and the topics of the panels, as well as the speakers' topics on the conference agenda.
Well, also, you never gave us the name of the conference, which I love. When your what do you call it, in your site, you'll have the letters of the conference. Mm-hmm. What it says.
Well, the name of the conference is Navigating the Storms of Slavery: Restore, Reflect, and Reclaim. And we have, our logo is actually an Adinkra symbol, a Ghanaian Adinkra symbol, which means look to your past to know your future. And it's a bird that's looking back, and you have two birds that are sort of looking back, and that's just the meaning, and that's the sort of the directive of this conference. We need to look at our past. We need to reflect back to move forward in the best way possible.
And you call the conference the SOS Slavery Conference.
Yeah, and we just say, you know, SOS, because it's like we need to do it now, you know. Okay. But it means the storms of slavery, you know. So.
Storm of slavery, which has a lot of impacts,
yeah,
of its descendants. Mm-hmm. Well, Dr. Jackson, I'd like to thank you for being here on Count Time and offering your information and this great program that's not conference that's coming up for the beginning of Black History Month, which is going to be really major. And we hope that y'all can get out in the 10 and call in. And who was that number again?
225-578-5942.
And this is Black History Month, one of the biggest Black History program I ever seen or heard. And I'm looking forward to being there, participating and doing what I can to assist too. So I'm looking forward to this. And this is on this week, Thursday and Friday. And there's something going on Saturday too as it relates to the conference. And also, I want you to stay tuned to Count Time, because we got some other special guests coming up this month for our Black History Month. We got our dear friend and brother, Major Reginald Brown, who will be tuning in with us. We also have Mr. Dalton Honore, who will be tuning in with Count Time. And also, we got a dear friend and brother who we have not heard or seen in a long time, former LSU coach, Coach Ron Abernathy, will be on Count Time. Yes, so we look forward to everyone being here and being a part of it. And also remember, man can shackle the hand, man can shackle the feet, but only you can shackle the mind. The mind is free to travel wherever you dare to take it. So welcome to another edition of Count Time Podcast.